we were hearing is, well, our corporate office is near Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, and down there it was bad news. Gas wells were freezing.
Yeah, and unfortunately in Texas, electricity was cheap, has been cheap for the last 9 years that everybody just bought index or month-to-month pricing, no fixed prices. And what happened then, the index went from 2 cents for power to $20 for power, and everybody was buying on index. Fortunately for us at high voltage, every client but one was buying a fixed price. So we continually stress fixing your price, maintaining a budget, trying to beat that price every year. And that's huge. I mean, that's
Risk away.
it is taking the risk away. If you spend 50,000 last year, let's try to spend 45,000 next year. If prices go up, let's try to minimize the maybe we go to 55,000. But if you sit out there on the open market, and a lot of people in Texas find this out, what's the most you could pay? A lot. I mean, people were $100,000 bills were now costing $1.2 million down there. So people buying on the index thinking the gravy train keeps on rolling. Guess what happens when you get to the tails of this weather pattern of very cold or very hot temperatures? We're not going to be able to handle the tails much anymore. We're getting rid of our base load electricity, coal, nuclear. I mean, all this stuff is being kind of shut down and mothballed. And what's going to happen is when we get into tails, too hot, too cold, we're going to see pricing that's going to be unbelievably high, and we want to try to avoid that as much as possible in the future.
And one other thing, especially in the Midwest, these pipelines that were going to the basins in Oklahoma and Texas, from the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, and going northbound, the utilities will buy maybe on a daily basis or monthly, however they're doing it. But normally they would pay, maybe 20 cents per therm or CCF, or they were paying up to $400 an MCF or 40 cents a CCF during that time. So now they've got to recoup these costs. They can't send it out to their utility area and say, okay, everybody has to pay this here this month, because they would be paying $10 million. So they spread it out over the next 3 years. But what they could have done, those people chose a product or one of the available product codes out there within their utility supply that took that risk away from them, that eliminated that risk, so they didn't get a big bill. I have friends in the Midwest that are saying, hey, I won't do that, because what I heard, well, when they structured their agreement, it's not what's in their agreement and how they structured it, it's what's not in it is what gets you burnt every time.
Correct.
Which we can help you with, and we identify that every time what's missing in there.
And if you are at risk, we will let you know. Hey, you're buying on a spot basis, there is a risk here. Price, you could pay $12 in a $2 market. If it gets really bad, you could pay $12. Are you willing to take that risk? Some are, and some will say, hey, cap me at 7, or hey, if the price gets above $5, call me, that type of thing. So if they understand the risk, it's a little better off as well, instead of just getting, oh my gosh, now we're paying all this money. So, the prices are low until they're not. And that's what we need to continue to think about, because for years, last 6 years or so, it's been pretty cheap, and we get used to it and we expect it every month until it's not there, and then it's too late to react.
Call us toll free at 877-505-3851. We answer the phone 24 hours a day except for holidays, in which the stock market is closed. We're closed on Sundays, of course. Our email address is support@commercialenergymidwest.com.